And hello again, my little mathematicians. I would like for you to turn into your Go Math textbooks to page 453. Again, 453 in your Go Math textbooks, and to try Explore activity number 2. Go ahead and actually, you should at this point in time know how to do this. And I want you guys to try to answer the question. So hit pause and then unpause it once you are done. Okay, so now hopefully you guys tried these problems on your own and you are now back with me. You already know how to find the mean. You do that by adding all the numbers in the data set, which are given right here, and then dividing by how many there were. There was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 numbers. So you divide by 7, you should have gotten 2,455 divided by 7, which was approximately 750.7. Now the reason it says approximately is that little wavy thing. That means approximate. So they wanted you to round it. It's not exact. So it was 7.1 something in your calculator. So that 1 tells us 7 to stay a 7. Now at B, it says write the data values in order from least to greatest. And we did that because we wanted to find the median. So you list them all from small to big in order, crossed off, crossed off, crossed off, crossed off, till you found that middle number. And notice that this time there's 7 numbers in the data set, an odd number. So then there was actually one specific number in the middle. And that worked out nicely. So there's my median. It's 310. Then it says the mean and the median differ by about how much? Well, this is 350.7. This is 310. How much do they differ by? We'll subtract them and you get 40.7. Why do they differ so much? Because they differ so much because the mean is affected by a big outlier of 750. When that was taken into consideration in the median, we just crossed it off and it's like it never even happened. But it was included as part of the data set when we added all the numbers. And so whenever there's what's called an outlier, quote unquote, that means think of it like an outsider. It doesn't belong with the rest of the data numbers. It's gonna affect your mean a lot because it's gonna make it either a lot smaller if it's smaller than everything else or a lot higher if it's bigger than everything else. So outliers affect the mean, and you probably don't wanna find the measure of center using the mean if there's an outlier. You'd want to use it finding the median. If there is no outliers, whichever way you want is probably the easiest. Okay, so they were greatly differing in value. Why? Because of that big outlier. And an outlier is a number in your data set that's a lot bigger or smaller than all the rest of your other numbers. And if there's a shadow, don't worry, oh, now there's more than a shadow. Say hello to Clark. So which measure of center better describes the typical monthly earnings for this group of teenagers, the mean or the median? The median. Why? Because the 750 value throws off the average or mean. So whenever there's an outlier, you want to use the median. All right, let's go ahead and turn the page in your textbook to page 454. So just turn the page and try number 4 at the top, and then you can check yourself. Okay, so hopefully you unpaused it and now you're back with us. When you found the mean for this data set, you should have gotten 76.4. And when you found the median, you know, listed them in order from least to greatest, crossed off till you found that middle number of 72. The median is a better depiction of Luke's typical score since the outlier of 99 threw off the mean score, because look at how these are all kind of close together from 69 to 72. That one kind of threw it off, but at the same time, like it wasn't that big of a difference. But at the same time, if you want to know like truly accurate, like on average, and I know that that's such a terrible phrase to use because average is actually the mean, but that 99 score is not the typical score that he usually gets. It's usually within the 69 to 72 range. So the median is probably the better one. This is a little bit higher than normal because that 99 was a little bit higher. But again, it didn't affect it that heavily in this particular instance. But the better usage would be the median. And again, try to stay away from that common phrase of, well, you know, the better average of his score is this, because yes, the measures of center, since we usually use the mean, we tend to overuse that word average. But now hopefully you can see the average isn't always necessarily the best and most accurate thing to use. So really be careful with how you throw that word around, all right? And remember, if they ever ask you which one's the better one to use, if there's an outlier, then choose median, okay? And if there's a number, I know this wasn't in this example, but if there's a number that happens like so often, and then there's just a few other numbers sprinkled around there without doing any math or putting in order, it's the mode. Use that one. But again, that's not really coming up in our examples, because when does life ever work out that nicely where it's just the same number again and again and again and again and again? But hey, you know what? It could happen. All right, hopefully this is a little bit of a helpful hint of when to use which measure of center depending upon your data set. All right, great job, mathematicians. You're getting smarter and smarter at this.